And taking this time to feel the fascia soften. With the foam roller about the level of the chest, the pectoral muscle, the nipple, roll to one side. We're going to do the lateral line. Softening that lateral line by just resting on that foam roller. Resting your head in your hand, bending the elbow, resting your head, and giving yourself some time. Healing invites us to create new patterns in our life. And it takes time and attention and breath. You can always put your hand on your belly. Double check that your breathing is coming from the diaphragm, heating up the fascia. And then roll so that you're maybe 1 inch further towards your armpit. Begin to explore for a place of discomfort. Become a pain seeker. You can bend your top leg, my right leg's on top, and lean back a little bit so that that foam roller connects with some of the subscapularis, some of the back muscles. If that's, ooh, you want to find that place that's, ooh, good pain, not ouch, 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 ouch pain. We're just kind of going for that edge, that good pain, and then we stop. We have found the pot of gold. Pause, lengthen, and breathe. Minimum of 3 breaths in each place. Perhaps you want to roll forward towards your upper arm. Again, finding new places. There's no shortage of pain. If you're interested, take another migration so that you're now, your armpit is on top of the foam roller. This is where having another set of pillows or yoga blocks can be helpful, because I want my neck to be supported. I'll often put a yoga block behind my head and just use that as a rest, a place to allow all of my body to be soft so that wherever I have contact with the foam roller or the block, that part gets to melt. Then everything else gets to relax and be supported. Making micro movements to find that next layer of pain. Deanna says it's like time traveling through your life story, each layer of pain in the fascia connected to some movement or many movements. I'm going to now rotate my palm to the sky and then rotate it down to the floor. I've got my left arm stretched out. And just by rotating the arm itself, that adds a whole new dimension to those deep and superficial fascial arm lines. knowing that they connect my chest to my thumb and my hands. And as always, follow your inner guidance. Move in the direction you are internally prompted to do. I am simply here to share and guide. We want to persuade our fascia to melt. Give it all the elements it needs to feel safe and let go. And we use cannabis to remind our system that this is balance and this can be healing and softening. If you're ready to push up from that position, use the right arm to help push you up. And we can do the same thing on the opposite side, or any exploration you're interested in. You know, every CannaYoga Healing session can be different. Even going to the same locations in your body over and over can be different depending on the day. I'm going to start this one just above the ribs, close to the line of the breast tissue, and supporting my head. Getting comfy with my legs, and then pausing to breathe. Perhaps searching forward or back a little bit into the rotator cuff. Oh, there's no shortage here. And once I find a spot, and I stay. Are you smiling? You always want to protect your neck, making sure everything is safe and comfortable. And thereby you're able to melt deeper with your breath. Ready to move the foam roller towards your armpit. Just an inch or two. This is slow, slow work. We can't rush the fascia. We can't rush melting. Extending my arm closest to the ground, palm up, stretching my fingers, activating that fascial line. And interestingly, that's when I suddenly have an urge to stretch my ankle and rotate. And I know that's a fascial line. I know that what's happening is I've slowed down enough to listen to the connection in my body. It's fascinating. I love fascia. Playing with the rotation of the arm, playing with the direction of the angle of the armpit. All your choice. You could be doing something completely different right now, and that's awesome. I'm just so glad you're here. Thinking of those fascial lines and how things that we don't think they're connected, but they really are. You know, I heard somebody talk about a physics, something new in physics that they discovered that, gee, the universe is not what we thought it was. And that's what I think about fascia. Gee, the body is not what we thought it was. Just fascinating. Fascinating fascia. I'm going to spend a little time near my hip bone. Not really the IT band, but that little bit of a hip area. I like to roll kind of side to side on that, finding that place of tension and stopping. That's your pot of gold. That's where you're going. That tight spot that you want to just roll over. No, we're staying. We're making friends with it. We're welcoming it into our life. And we're heating it up with our breath. Follow your intuition, follow your movements and thoughts. Fascia is your playground. Breath and cannabis are going to help you explore that playground. Always respect your limits. There's no rush. There's nothing to keep up. There's no yoga police here. You don't have to impress anybody. From my place on the upper outer hip, I'm rolling towards the ground, bringing my opposite leg bent, and I'm letting the foam roller sink just above my hip bone, on that place below the ribs, above the hip, somewhat on the belly, but not fully on the belly. And then I'm leaning away from it, finding a little bit of a twist to my right. Left leg is bent, right leg is long. Chest is facing the ground. Fascia moves in spirals and twists and waves. Some people like to foam roll or put pressure on the belly. Some do not. So listen to your inner guidance. What's good for me may not be good for you. And that's okay. I'm going to roll back onto my back again. Get my block on the tall side, support my head. Spend a little time on that low back area. Ooh, I found a spot. That's my cue to slow down and stop. I'll use yoga blocks to prop up my upper back, or sometimes my sternum in front, anything that helps support me. Allows me to soften and use my breath, lengthen my exhale, heat up that entire furnace that is my house. Until it's soft. And when it's soft, I know that my fascia just released. Taking time with any transitions. Search for that place of tenderness. There's layers and layers of fascia in any part that is tender, and therefore you can vary your vector. You can rotate. You can bend towards it. You can bend slowly away from it. You can angle yourself on top of your foam roller or your block in a way that finds, what I call that central core. And then you pause. And then you breathe. Minimum 3 long exhales at every tight spot, even up to 3 minutes. It can be a wonderful meditative way to slow down at the end of the day. Simply laying on your belly with your forehead resting on your forearms and breathing into the belly is a way to slow down your nervous system at the end of the day. If you're ever in a position and you're able to rest your forehead, your third eye, your forehead on a yoga block and simply be there, it actually activates your relaxation response. It's another wonderful tool that we can relax our entire nervous system. You know, I work in Western medicine, so I am not against pharmaceuticals at all. They are life-saving and important. And complementary medicine is where my heart really lies. So I love to bring in from both sides of the fence, so to speak. Maybe that's why I love the endocannabinoid system so much, because it's about balance. Bringing in those non-pharmaceutical self-help soothing tools, ways that we can reset our system, tools we can use. I'm going to gently move the foam roller and place my body on the foam roller so that it is parallel with the length. In other words, sacrum at the bottom, gently widening my stance, using my arms, flattening my back, mid-back, and the head rests on the foam roller. Keeping the stance wide, even reaching the arms out slightly for kickstands as needed. Love this position. So much of our life is spent forward. We hunch forward, we work on computers, we round ourselves forward, and our chest shortens and tightens, and our upper back lengthens and overstretches. So placing yourself on the foam roller and softening your arms out to the side, palms up, allows for a reversal of that chronic pattern. Tucking your chin slightly. And wherever's tight, this time use your breath. Long exhale to squeeze and push out the toxins. Big inhale, visualizing it going to those areas that are tight, those areas that want to roll in, those areas we're gently inviting to roll out. We persuade fascia one breath at a time. And put a smile on your face. I'm so happy you're here. I'm going to create a little bit of a snow angel position, bringing my arms, keeping them on the floor, but raising them in an arc like a snow angel up towards the top of my head, stopping when anything feels tight. Rotator cuff, pec minor, subscapularis. There's a lot of action in these shoulders. Don't force it. No yoga police here. Pause where you feel that increase in tightness, and then stay. That's your invitation to pause. Minimum 3 long, slow breaths. backing out if it's uncomfortable. You are your best guide. Inviting your body to slowly unwind from that, bringing the hands out into a T, softening through the sternum, letting the collarbones widen, the jaw soften, the tongue to rest on the roof of your mouth, docking there safely. It's Frankie the Wonder Cat. Bringing my arms back down the side to my sides, narrowing my stance just a little bit. And then I lengthen one leg, doesn't matter which side, but I'm going to roll to that side. Leg is long, roll back down off the foam roller, pausing for a minute, straightening out the leg, taking a few breaths. Excuse me. And letting that nervous system rewire itself a little bit. And moving the foam roller towards my thighs. Again, this is what I'm called to do. You may not be called to do this. Propping myself up so that the top of my hamstrings are on the foam roller. I'll make some space here. Resting back on my hands, palms facing, fingers facing out or down towards my heels. And then I'm widening my legs into a V and narrowing them into a V. Super slow. If anything's tender, we stop there. We're dragging fascia off of the bone, moving it away from the back of the thigh, allowing that fascia to unstick. It has become stuck on the back of the bone, which leads to cellulite. Cellulite. I always say that wrong. Now I'm going to lower my bottom to the mat, my glutes to the mat, and move the foam roller down. And now just above the knee, and doing the same thing. You can widen into a V and drag them back together, feeling as though the skin underneath is a little stuck. And that's fascia. dragging it slowly, encouraging it to move a little bit. Rotating my legs so that the heels come together, duck walk. Rotating the legs inward so the toes come together. All of these things done very slowly, and pause where you feel tightness. That's your pot of gold. Minimum 3 long exhales. Slow transitions. Now I'm going to do the quads, the front of my thighs. This is a common place that people foam roll. And I'm going to encourage you to find that tender spot and stay. This is where I'll use an extra yoga block under my sternum, my lower rib cage, my middle rib cage. Maybe I'll have yet another block for my head. And I pause. Ooh wee, there's some sore spots on my quads. Never want to spend time in a place where you're shallow breathing and you're squinching. Everything tightens up. Nope, that's too much. Move yourself an inch in one direction or another. Find a place that's comfortably painful. I've heard the difference between clean pain and dirty pain. We're looking for the clean pain. Bending my knees to create a new angle, a new vector. Finding that place that's uncomfortable, but still comfortable enough to stay for 3 long breaths. I'm going to roll to a slightly different place on my quads. Again, setting up my blocks, allowing myself a place to fully relax everything else besides the area that has pressure. Frankie's doing his CannaYoga Healing too. Remember the power of your long exhales, heating up your whole house, heating up that fascia, lengthening your exhales, squeezing your pelvic floor, your mula bandha, your abdomen, getting those toxins out. When you're ready, slowly push up, exhaling as you move. Last couple places I'm going to do are the inner thighs. We start by lowering our front belly to the mat. I'm bending my left knee. Oh, Frankie is getting involved here. The foam roller goes lengthwise on my mat. I roll away to my right hip, and then I re-roll forward, bringing the inside of my left thigh on the foam roller. And once again, I find props, pillows, blocks, anything I need to drop myself gently down to the mat. Excuse me, Frank. There's often a lot of pain on the inside of that thigh, and lifting the heel up towards the sky, bringing the heel down towards the ground, finding that position, whether it be the upper inner thigh or closer to the knee. And then pause, minimum 3 long breaths. When you're ready to move, put your hands under shoulders and exhale as you move, and roll off to your right, release that left leg. Slow transitions. Appreciate where you're at right now. I appreciate you being here. Switching to the other side, belly down on the mat and rolling so that my right leg can be bent at the knee and position on the foam roller. Readjusting belly down, right knee bent, foam roller, creating a place of pressure. This in a slightly different location. You know, we're bilateral, but we're not symmetrical. Play with extending the leg, bending the leg. Simply being still is perfect. Simply being still, becoming a belly breather, not a chest breather. Squeezing exhales out is more than enough to get the benefit of CannaYoga Healing. Lifting my right leg, rolling to the back, roll to the left side, lift the right leg off the foam roller. Bring yourself back to the mat. Taking a moment to simply lay still, knees bent or legs extended. If you're ready, I invite you to join us in a Shavasana, a final resting pose. This is the place where you integrate all of your good sensations, all of the new messages that you've given to your nervous system, your immune system, your endocannabinoid system. This is the place to soften and to allow that integration for the purpose of balance and deep healing. So I invite you to stretch out, get your blanket, do whatever you need to do to soften and integrate. Appreciating your body, appreciating yourself, taking time for this self-care. And I will be back to get you in a few moments.